You're listening to Reimagined Radio. Real talk, real life, real magic.
In this episode, I'm going to be talking about the importance of relaxation. And I know you're probably saying, yeah, I know I'm supposed to relax. But I'm not talking about surface level relaxation. I'm talking about the deep and focused kind. So listen in so you'll know what I mean. Welcome to Success Unlimited with Dr. Patricia Thompson. If you want to be more successful while also being happier at work and at home, you're in the right place. We'll be covering research along with little tweaks, tips, and hacks that will help you to fulfill your potential in the business world without sacrificing your peace of mind. So 2 weeks ago at this time, I was actually with my husband and son on spring break. I was lying on the beach, and you know that feeling you have when you're on the beach and you don't have a care in the world? I was curling my toes in the sand, looking up at the sky, hearing the waves in the background, seeing the seagulls fly by. And it was, the most awesome, totally relaxed feeling. Probably the most relaxed I've been in a while. And when I got back, it got me to thinking, why is it that when we're on vacation, we're so able to relax? And then when we're at home, even when we're not working, for some reason, we're never able to achieve that same complete feeling deep in your body of being totally relaxed. And you know what I came down to, what I decided it was? I decided it was because when we're on vacation, we actually give ourselves permission to disconnect. We know that we're there to relax and to have fun and to enjoy ourselves. And so we give ourselves full, unabashed permission to do so. No guilt, no feeling like we're supposed to be doing something else, or, we can do it for maybe the next 10 minutes, but then we really need to get back to unloading the dishwasher or to working on a report or, whatever our other responsibilities are. And it got me to thinking that life would be so much better if we gave ourselves permission to disconnect and completely relax like that a whole lot more often. So part of the question is, how do you get to the point where you can give yourself that level of permission? Today, when I was on Twitter, Wharton professor Adam Grant, he's one of someone who I admire a lot in terms of all the work that he does for organizational psychology, he tweeted, "The industrial age has brainwashed us into thinking that work is the reason we exist." I'll say that again. The industrial age has brainwashed us into thinking that work is the reason we exist. And, it might sound like it's a bit extreme, but I think in terms of my interactions with people, I think there's some truth to that. I think a lot of us put our work as central in our lives, and then we just try and fit in the rest of our lives around it. And if the rest of our lives can't quite fit in, well then, that's just the nature of being someone who's focused on your career. You have to focus on your career. You can't have any time for other things. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't focus on your career. After all, for a lot of us, it's really meaningful. I love the work that I do. I love getting to help people to improve their lives. But at the same time, it shouldn't be the be-all and end-all to your life. And on a practical level, obviously for most of us, work is what pays the bills. And so I'm not saying that you need to leave your job. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that just entertain the possibility of giving yourself absolute permission to be able to disconnect from work and just focus on self-care. Just be in the present moment, like you are maybe when you go on a beach vacation, just fully enjoying what's going on around you, your company, your surroundings, engaging all your senses. Bring all that in and give yourself permission to fully immerse yourself in it and see how the quality of your life increases. Over the past few weeks, I've done a few radio interviews about the proposed right to disconnect bill in New York. It's based on similar legislation in France, and basically the idea is that it limits the expectations that employers can have for you responding to them after hours. So it's kind of the idea that your employer can't expect you to be responding to emails after hours. They have to give you the right to disconnect. And, whether or not the legislation passes, I do think that it raises some really important questions about whether or not we should be available 24/7 to work. Because research has actually shown that when people are not given a chance to disconnect fully from work, they tend to have some negative side effects. They tend to feel more work strain. They tend to feel more stressed, and they're less able to recharge and to rejuvenate themselves and kind of ready themselves for the pressures of work the next day. So what I encourage you to do is to set some boundaries for yourself. Give yourself permission, if you're in the sort of job that allows it, I would say, to fully disconnect after a certain hour. Now, obviously, if you're an OBGYN on call, that's not going to apply. But for most of us, that's not the case. Decide that after, set hour in the day, you're going to not respond to work. You're going to give yourself permission to fully disconnect. And then don't just kind of give yourself permission on an intellectual level. Really give yourself permission on an emotional level, and then do something that you really enjoy and give yourself the opportunity to just fully disconnect and immerse yourself in it. I actually did that earlier today. I went and played tennis in the morning, and it's funny because I'd been feeling a little bit stressed before. But when I was on the tennis court, just fully immersed in what I was doing, I felt so much better. And then I was able to return to the work that I was doing, feeling more energized, more engaged, and in a better mood. And guess what? It made me more productive. I wasn't grinding my wheels trying to force it out. I was able to come with a fresh energy and with excitement about getting back to what I was doing. And now that I have this realization, I totally plan to do this way more often and to give myself full permission to relax. And I hope that you'll do the same for yourself. And that's really all I wanted to cover in this podcast. Just the idea that self-care is important. And I don't want you to have distracted self-care. Really carve out the time and make sure you're allowing yourself to be fully present. And if you want to find more resources on how to do that, make sure to go to my website at silverliningpsychology.com. You can actually click on a mindfulness link and there'll be more information about mindfulness there. And as always, I would love to hear if you apply any of these strategies, how they work out for you. And so you can find me on my website, or you can also find me on Twitter at Patricia_ATL. Hope you have an amazing day, and make sure to take some time to relax.